Episode 8.
Are you ready to take your eBay business to the top? Well, if so, buckle up and hold on. It's time once again for So You Want to Sell on eBay with your hosts, Ron LeBeau and Ali Young.
Creating an eBay store these days is not that difficult a task. Creating a custom eBay store is. So if you're thinking of starting an eBay business, or even if you're a titanium power seller, let the professional team at AuctionProTemplates.com create a custom eBay store for you.
Welcome once again to another episode of So You Want to Sell on eBay. I'm Ron LeBeau.
And I'm Ali Young.
All right, everyone, let's get started. I am simply thrilled to introduce our guest today, Ken, Dr. eBay Eicher.
Hey, Ken, great to have you on the show with us.
Ken, are you ready to inspire?
I'd be glad to.
Awesome.
Yeah, excellent.
Well, Ken's been selling and buying on eBay since 2002. That's 14 years, ladies and gentlemen, and he says that in the beginning he read all that he could find to learn how eBay works. He bought and read many books on eBay. He followed the writings of eBay gurus like Janelle Elms, Danna Crawford, Jim Cockrum, and many others. He also joined their educational sites and read eBay help pages for hours. That education helped him to know how to write great descriptions, set up stores, make good keyword titles, and the right kind of photos for his products. So, Ken, I've given our listeners an overview of you, but I know they want to hear the rest of the story. So before we dive in, let's find out a little bit more about you personally. Our listeners want to know anything and everything you'd like to share about you. It could be family, hobbies, or just anything.
Oh, well, other than eBay, I'm a husband and a grandfather, and I have a Miata that I like to drive, a Mazda Miata with the top down when the weather's warm.
And what is your license plate on that Miata?
It says Dr. eBay.
No,
so.
Really? It says Dr. eBay?
Yes, it does. New Jersey license
excellent.
plate. Yes.
Wow.
And I have fun going out and looking for things to sell on eBay. So I keep busy.
Where do you normally go to find stuff for eBay? You go to markets or?
I go a lot of different places. I've gone to places like Walmart and Target and thrift stores, including Salvation Army, and yard sales. You know, I've done a lot of searching for things over the years.
Very nice. So before we start each episode of So You Want to Sell on eBay, Ken, we always like to ask our guests to tell us about one person that's made a real impact, a real difference in your life. Someone with such a positive impact on you that sort of helped you get where you were in your eBay business and other areas of your life. So Ken, tell us, who is your impact person? Who is that one person that sort of got you to where you are?
You know, it's hard to just choose one, because I've paid attention to a lot of the people who have done well on eBay and been willing to share their knowledge with others, including the three you just mentioned a few minutes ago in the bio. I would say the first one probably was the best in the sense that I didn't know that much then, and that was Janelle Elms. I met Janelle at one of the first eBay Live conventions that I went to, and that was in Las Vegas, Nevada. And then I saw her again, of course, in the next two, which were in Boston and Chicago. Janelle had been a teacher for eBay, and teaching at the conventions and teaching in other classes for them. And she's very knowledgeable, and I learned a lot from her to get me started. So she later went on to start a group that I joined called OSI, which stands for Online Success Institute, Rockstars. And
Rockstars, wow.
And she still runs that group today under OSIRockstars.com. And it's basically a collaboration of power sellers and people who are, want to be power sellers and learning, who share with each other, and it's a great collaboration, a great learning experience that I was part of for many years.
Sounds great, Ken. That sounds like a good group of people. And, when communities like eBay have sub-communities within them, and like you and Janelle and the other people that, are in your community there, get together and they, like you said, collaborate, they bring their ideas together, it just takes it to a whole new level, right?
That's right. That's right.
So, all right, Kim, well, we'd like to recognize you now for your hard work and efforts, and I know you sold products on eBay from 2002 to the present, right? And I know there's been a lot of improvements to the selling process since you started. Well, let's go back. And, you know, for a lot of people that are just starting to sell eBay, they don't understand what it was like in 2002. So let's go back, and as much detail as you'd like, what was it like selling on eBay in 2002? And name some of the differences that you know of now.
Well, eBay was a lot simpler then, but it was also like you know, the Old West in one sense, because it was there weren't as many controls as eBay has now for keeping out bad buyers and bad sellers, and so you had to really be on your guard as to as a seller, as to who you were selling to and how they were going to treat you, and whether you're going to get negative feedback from them for reasons that didn't exist. And it was a real, you know, wild time. We had to get through that. It's of course, it's changed, and it's much better now. eBay's put in a lot of controls and things to weed out the riffraff that would give eBay a bad name.
We're all aware that no matter where you go or what you do, there's still going to be those that try and beat the system and try and get around the rules or regulations. So we appreciate eBay going the extra mile, tightening the reins on those that try and do that and try and beat the people that, you know, really are making a good effort at doing this honestly. So now that we know a little bit more about you, Ken, let's take a look at your journey to and through eBay. So obviously you've had great success with eBay, but we're going to dig in now. We're going to see how it all happened, because we want to hear of your failures and your successes. Our listeners need to know that you were where they are, and there is good news for them if they're determined. Ken, we all know that success rarely comes before failure. So tell us of a particular failure that happened on your journey that may have had you second-guess whether or not you should continue pursuing your eBay business.
The only failure I can think about is really not one of my own, but there was a time some years back when eBay started to really clamp down on some of the rule breakers, and there were sellers that were breaking the rules, and as well as buyers, and they put a lot of requirements in, and there was a whole uproar of people leaving eBay, and you know, all the message boards were going crazy, criticizing eBay management for making it hard for small sellers to continue. Many people left eBay, went to other sites that either had just started or soon would, like Etsy and Bonanza and others, Amazon and so forth. And you know, it was a rough time to sit here and think, well, gee, do I want to leave too, or you know? Yeah. And finally, I realized that, well, there's a lot of the people that left were just, you know, they were letting their anger cloud their judgment, and I still thought eBay was a great place to sell, and I decided to learn the new rules and follow them, and that was the right decision.
So how did eBay bring it back round again then? Did they obviously change something when so many people left?
Well, eBay didn't, but there were message boards on eBay, and there were other places that you could talk to other eBay sellers, and there, you know, everything wasn't all negative. There were positive people too, and I joined the positive people's side. You know, moved on from there.
Yeah. So you think along the way, I suppose it's like any company, that they sort of worked out what they were doing wrong in the early days, and they sort of improving it to try to make a better system, one for the seller and for the buyer, I suppose.
That's right.
I mean, it's good because eBay nowadays is probably one of the biggest, except for like maybe Amazon or something. So it must be really special to be like a veteran, you know, be back there and be here and sort of see the changes in between, really.
Yeah, I guess I can be considered a veteran now. I mean, for many years I always looked up to other people who had been on eBay for 10 or 15 years, and I was just on for 5 or 6 or 7. But 14 is a good run.
Yeah, that is. It's certainly the word veteran, so I love it. Well, let's turn the tables now, Ken, and let's look at some particular success stories. Tell us of a time in great detail that reassured you that your eBay journey was heading down the right direction, sort of heading down the way that you wanted to go.
Well, when I started opening eBay stores, I had a couple of them. I have several. I have 3 different usernames now, but I had one that was concentrating more on print items, books, magazines, catalogs, anything in print, information basically, and another one that was more physical products. And I developed those stores and had a lot of success with them. A store is another level within eBay that can be very, very rewarding. You can leave things on there for a while. It's not something you need to wait for somebody to buy it right away and have to keep issuing, the item. But that was probably where I found a lot of success for a while until I had to cut back some of my activities for personal reasons later on.
Well, Ken, that's awesome. And, you mentioned the stores, and for someone out there who's listening to us who's not familiar with an eBay store, what was the difference for you? And maybe you can explain on, to the person who's thinking about starting an eBay business, what's the difference? At what point do you say, well, I've got 10 items here, I can either sell them individually or I can open a store? I know there's an expense with a store, a monthly expense, but what is the difference? What point did you come to where you were thinking, I need to open a store and get serious about this?
Well, I realized that just selling a little bit of this and a little bit of that, you really didn't need a store. But once you had enough volume and a variety of items, then you were selling things that sometimes would be better to be sold as a buy it now rather than an auction. You were able to get a better price for it that way. That you had a niche, you had some sort of a theme for your store, so that you were selling similar items of the same genre. That made a store worthwhile. Just to put a store up and throw a bunch of mishmash of all sorts of different little items on there, it's not. It's really not the way to go, I don't think, and I don't think people really do well that way. But if they've got a particular product line, things that kind of go together, then that's a good place to sell things like that in a store.
Yeah, and that kind of makes sense, because if I'm buying a guitar, I might want to buy an amplifier as well. So you've got the pictures you got the items right next to each other, and if I'm buying that guitar, I'm looking at that amplifier, and I don't have to go anywhere else. It's in your store. I'm already in your store. So having a candle there might not be appropriate, but having a guitar or music-related items would be beneficial. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. And buyers when they're buying, Amazon does a great job at that. When you go to look at something, they say, buyers have bought this, also bought this, and this. This is what people do when they're online shopping, and when they're going to buy something, they sometimes buy accessories for it. And so if you've got those accessories, that's the place to do it, because if you're selling it just as a buy it now loosely by itself on the site or even an auction, that seller can buy that from you, but then he may buy the other things from somebody else that he sees on the list. So if he's in your store, then he's more likely to buy something from you.
Yeah, it makes great sense. All right, Ken, so now let's take a look at the wow moment. And this, for me, is my favorite part of the interview here. Tell us a story of a time in your journey when you had a wow moment, a moment that was so instrumental to your success that you knew, and there was no guesswork, that you were on your way to a successful eBay business.
One of the things that all the people who have been on eBay a long time tell you, and eBay itself, is that the best way to earn a living or to make good money on eBay is to find a niche. And you have to, in other words, you need to find something that you know something about, something that you're good at. And if you're good at something and you know a lot about something, a certain type of product or a certain genre, then you have to work at getting sources where you can find the items that you're going to sell in connection with that. That allows you to, get going in that area. And so once I realized that, I really didn't have one at that point, but I started thinking about it, and my friend Jim Cockrum, who I followed for years with his my silent team, and he had some ideas, and I picked up on one of them, and he had a little course that I went through called the Proven eBay course. It was great, and I finally got a niche, and I've been selling that product for many years now.
Yeah, that's great. It's great advice because I know some people who actually sell on eBay, and they sort of sell a variety of stuff, and they sort of think that they're going to put all these products on and they're going to make them millions. But I like the thing that you said where you do something that you're good at, or something that you know, or something that you have a bit of knowledge for, because I'd imagine it brings the passion. It becomes more easy to sell that product, and you sort of, you have more love with it. I mean, that's really good advice there. So
yes.
Would you have, in the early days though, before you understood that, would you have just gone out and bought anything? Like you say, you go to Walmart or markets like that?
Yes, I was looking for things back then that would that I could make a profit. But I soon learned that you can't buy something at Walmart that you can resell it for $10 or $15 online on eBay, because by the time the eBay fees and the PayPal fees come out of it, and you think about how much effort you put into creating that listing and taking pictures and all that has to go into it, for one item, even if you bought 2 or 3 of them, that's the better way to do it. If you can buy a bunch of them, if you think you're going to sell them all, it's a lot of work, and so you don't make much that way. Yeah.
So you would have done a bit of research. I mean, you would have gone to Walmart. You'll see they're selling it for $5. You put it on there for $8, but you would have known during that process that there is a profit to be made on that.
Exactly. That's the way you have to look at it. And in fact, I have one friend that buys a lot from Target, and he has a rule. He'll only buy Target products when they're down to 70% off retail, what Target normally sells for. And then he knows he can make some money.
Yeah. That's kind of a good rule of thumb. Ken, well, let me ask you a quick question on that, because you were talking about, going to Walmart or Target and finding something that you would put on eBay. You've got shipping costs too, and I know there's a big push right now. Everybody's offering free shipping, right? At what point do you say this is going to cost me? Because sometimes, and I don't know if these guys that are selling these $3 items that they have to ship, I don't know how they're doing that, but I don't know if they're just cost averaging the thing, or how does that work?
Well, in the beginning, when I was selling smaller items, I always made sure that I was sourcing lightweight items that I could fit either in an envelope or a small box. And that was easy to package, and it didn't cost a lot. And most of my products were shippable first-class mail. Okay. So that cut down on the costs. Even today, many of the products I sell can be put in a small box or an envelope and sold go through first-class mail. That's the way to do that. I often offer free shipping. I think that's a great feature. I have found personally, and I know many other sellers have found, although not everyone is willing to try it, I've learned, that when you offer an item with free shipping, you can usually charge more than the people who aren't charging free shipping, but you can get a better price. Yep. People will pay more just because they don't have to worry about the shipping. It's already included, even though they know in the back of their mind, I'm sure, that the shipping is built into the cost that they're paying, makes things sell better, easier.
Yeah, but Ken, even though I'm paying more, I'm still getting free shipping.
Right.
And it gives you better results in the eBay rankings, doesn't it?
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
Well, eBay knows that, and that's why they do that.
Yeah. I mean, it's great. It's my wife, when she goes to the shops and stuff, and she sees 90% discount, I actually think it's the same as it was last week, but to her it's like, let's just discount now, let's buy it now. It's great marketing. It gets you to do it. Well, that's fantastic, Ken. Our listeners, they come from all walks of life. We have fishermen, farmers, accountants, and housewives. Right now, they want to hear what you, a successful eBay veteran seller, did in your pre-eBay life for a living. I mean, what jobs did you do before you started down this eBay journey of yours?
Well, I work for the same company for 33 years, something that is pretty rare these days. Basically, I was in information technology, IT. I did a lot of different things, everything from programming to writing procedures to managing departments of 50 people and more, and it was a great career.
Wow, that's and so what made you stop that?
I was downsized.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, the company, like so many other companies, finally got to the point. They had never had a layoff. They had a policy, but they finally got to a point where, they brought in one of the a new president from the outside, first president that ever ran the company that didn't grow up in the company, and he was brought in as a hatchet man, and he just and that was because they had found ways with technology to eliminate a lot of people. So our company had 60 production plants all around the country, and after a 5-year period, we probably shed about 13,000 people, and we're left with 15 plants producing the same amount of product as we did before, but because of automation.
Well, it's kind of ironic you say that, because it was because of downsizing that Ali and I kind of got together. We became business partners. I had to go to India to train some folks to do my job. You'll have to listen to episode 1 to hear that story. So
Okay.
I'll just let that go at that.
So do you actually think, honestly, Ken, do you actually think that was a good thing for you? I mean, here you are now. You're sort of called Dr. eBay. You go around speaking. Do you think it was like meant to be in some way?
I don't know. I don't get into that fate stuff much.
No. Okay. But it's worked out well for you. Let's leave it at that, shall we?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, well, we've obviously covered the spectrum of your eBay business. We've heard from your failures, your successes, fantastic wow moments and stuff. But what we haven't covered is what keeps you busy today. I mean, our listeners want to know, what is the Dr. eBay does for his time these days? So in great detail, tell us what the good doctor does to stay out of trouble, and also, how many apples a day does it really take to keep the doctor away?
I don't know about the apple question, but, well, I still sell on eBay, and I've still got things in my storerooms I've got to get on the site and get rid of. So I'm always looking for that. I've got an attic and a garage and a basement I've got to clean out, full of stuff that I've collected there, because as I mentioned earlier, we've had a few rough years with parents dying and being sick and so forth, and so that's all over with, and I'm getting back into it now. That's what the future holds for me, just cleaning out some more space in the house and earning some more money.
Yeah, well, it sounds like you'll have fun doing that, Ken. I do have a question here real quick on the shipping, because, see, you've been selling for so long now, you probably have this down to an art. But do you actually take the pictures and then list the product and then get it boxed up and ready to go, or do you wait until it's sold before you box it up? I hear there's two schools of thought on that. One says, I want to get it on the rack and get it ready to ship. The other person says, well, I don't do that, because what if somebody comes back with a question about that item? Now I have to open the box up and look at that, to get a description or to get a number off there or something like that. Which way do you go?
Well, the answer is it depends. In other words, if you're selling individual items that don't relate to one another, then you've got to take a box that's going to fit in, put it in the box, put some packing into it, and at least that, you don't have to put a label or tape it up or anything, and weigh it, so you know how much you're going to charge for shipping.
Right.
If you have similar products that you have many of, and you're selling the same thing over and over again, well, once you've weighed one, you know what they cost to ship, and so you don't have to do that anymore.
Yeah, good answer.
And with the shipping there, would you, because this is another question we get asked a lot, do you use the most expensive shipping? So let's say you have to send to the other side of the country. Do you use that as your judgment of how much the shipping will be?
No, because when you set up a listing on eBay, you want the buyer to see low shipping if he's going to pay for shipping.
Yep.
And so you put in, it'll start out with your local eBay postal address, and you put in the cheapest shipping that you have available, and then you also give them options to upgrade shipping when they're ready to buy. Then they have a choice of saying, well, I want to ship, I don't want to do that slow mail to China shipping that you have there. I want to go with priority mail, or I want to go with express mail, or some other UPS or whatever. So if you give them options, then they have a choice, and that works well.
And how would it work with the free shipping then? How would you calculate the price of that?
Well, when you have free shipping, then you're going to choose that shipping, I would like I said, most of the items that I do free shipping on are first class, and so I know what they weigh. I sell them all the time. I know it's going to cost me, let's say, somewhere between $1.80 and $2.80 or something like that to ship that item out. So I build that into my price that I'm offering for it. And in many of the items, if you're selling items that, if you've done your research and you know that you have a hot item, there's a big market for it out there on eBay, then you don't have to do that much research. You can put that out as a 99-cent auction listing, and it'll go up, and every time it'll go up, and you don't have to worry about it. If you have an item that you don't see a lot of them sold, you're better off with a buy it now, and then you have to think about shipping, and I wouldn't offer free shipping on that usually.
That makes great sense. It's now time for the lightning round, but before we do, let's thank our sponsors.
If you are an online merchant, chances are you've heard of Terapeak. Terapeak helps online merchants like you by providing in-depth analytics to help you pull back the curtain on your competitors' behavior, pricing techniques and strategies, supply and demand, category and product trends, and customer purchase patterns. Sound intense? It is. Terapeak is the leader in e-commerce market analysis, dedicated to helping online merchants grow their business and become more profitable. How cool would it be if you could know the new and emerging opportunities? Terapeak delivers market intelligence that is both meaningful and actionable. Terapeak analyzes over 2.4 billion transactions per year. How many of those will be yours next year? After all, if your competitors see the value in Terapeak, shouldn't you? Go to www.soyouwannasellonebay.com/Terapeak to sign up today.
Ken, this is where we're going to ask you a series of questions. It's going to be your chance to answer the questions as you care to. You can go as quickly as you want, or you can elaborate as much as you'd like to as well. Are you ready for that?
We'll try.
All right, let's do this. So, Ken, what was your biggest fear of starting an eBay business?
Could I do that? Could I do this? In fact, the first item I sold, I tried to sell an item, a cell phone case. Nobody wanted it. They didn't buy it. It didn't sell. So I got a little discouraged right off the bat. And I waited a few weeks, and I tried something else, and that sold. And I got reinvigorated and went on from there.
Do you still have the phone case?
I used to. I don't know if I still do.
Is it in that garage of yours? Okay, so what one piece of advice would you give someone just starting an eBay business that they could really benefit from?
Don't try to figure it out for yourself. Either take a class, or there are people who run eBay classes in high schools and some one-on-one classes, which I do also, that you can take in person. There are also classes online. There are people out there with educational groups that they've started up, such as the couple of people I mentioned earlier. Join up with them and learn from them. Don't sit back and try to figure it out all yourself.
Yep. Or go to www.soyouwannasellonebay and listen to another episode, right?
Okay, there you go.
There you go.
All right, so Ken, if you had the chance to start all over with the knowledge you have now of your eBay store, what one thing would you do differently?
I don't know if I would have done anything differently, because I think I did it right. I studied and learned in the beginning. I didn't try to go too fast. I learned from others as much as I can until I got to the point where I knew how to make a good listing and how to take a good picture, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
So when you started your eBay business, how much confidence did you have that you could really make much money, much less actually make a living out of it?
I didn't have much confidence. That came with time, with learning.
So we kind of talked a little bit earlier about your research, and I know that when you went into Walmart and Target, you told us about some of the research you did, but was there any method that you used for your research? Like, for example, when you're in Walmart, did you have your smartphone app with you, or what do you do to confirm that the product you're in the thrift store with is going to sell on eBay?
Well, when I started, there weren't any iPhone apps.
That's right.
No iPhones, was there?
Basically, you're on your own. You could bring a laptop if you wanted to, but that was pretty hard to do. So I really had to go and look, and then come back and research on eBay and see what what was going on. Nowadays, there are lots of ways electronically to research that through, as you say, apps on eBay, on iPhones and Android phones, and I do that myself regularly. That would be the kind of advice I would say to people, just to learn and research.
That's
I know. I could also add that if you're thinking about selling a certain thing, there are people on eBay that come out with lists at times. There's one gal that comes out with a list each fall about what are the top selling toys are going to be at Christmas. Look for those toys, and you'll do better than just buying any old toy. The same thing with other products. You can find people that know more about it than you do. Learn from them and watch those kind of lists when you can find them.
Yeah, and you can always go back to the to eBay and go to the advanced settings and look at completed, right? Because just because someone's selling an item for $24 doesn't mean it has ever sold for $24. So you can go into eBay and go to advanced and click on completed. You'll see red and greens, right? So the greens means that it did sell and it sold for, you can see the price, or red means that it didn't sell in that auction, right?
That's right. That's exactly right. I do that all the time.
That's great advice. Well, that's great answers there, Ken. Cheers for that. And that's the end of the lightning round. And it's actually time for us to say goodbye to Ken. We'd like to thank our special guest, Ken, Dr. eBay Eicher, for taking the time to come join us today and share with us his wonderful, great experience. I've picked up some goodies today. Don't try to figure this all out for yourself. Take some classes. Best way is to find a niche, and that niche is always something good to do if you're good at it or you actually enjoy doing it. So I've really enjoyed listening to you today, Ken.
Yeah, Ken, we appreciate your time, man. And, I know we're not the only ones that are going to benefit from this interview.
All right. Well, Ron and Ali, I appreciate the time, and I've enjoyed talking with you both.
Excellent. Well, we'll post all the notes from today's interview on our show notes page, which can be found at www.soyouwantasellonebay.com/show notes. But before you go, Ken, please tell our listeners how they can find you. What's the best way for them to contact you?
Well, they can find me on Twitter as Dr. eBay. I'm really not on Facebook as anything. I do frequent a number of groups on Facebook. There's a number of working eBay and a number of groups. Just search for eBay on the Facebook search box, and you'll find groups out there that are great sources. So, I'm on some of those. If they live in my neck of the woods, North Jersey, I have a meeting at the local Panera Bread restaurant in Rockaway, New Jersey, every month, the second Monday of the month, and they welcome to come in there. It's 7:30 in the evening. We just have coffee and munchies and chat about eBay.
Munchies, I love it. Well, thanks for all the information, Ken. We wish you continued success. From everyone here at So You Want to Sell on eBay, I'm Ali Young.
And I'm Ron LeBeau.
So you're wondering how you can grow your business, yet your website is currently being hosted by one of those website-in-a-box sites. Or maybe you don't have a website. Well, if you're really serious about growing your business, then maybe it's time to get serious about who is hosting your website. Bluehost is your answer. At Bluehost, you get complete hosting solutions for as little as $4.95 per month. And while that is inexpensive, it certainly is not cheap. You get unlimited domain hosting, unlimited space, unlimited bandwidth, and much more. Bluehost has the top-rated 24/7 support team of real experts ready to offer real solutions and advice. And if that weren't enough, at Bluehost, you will never sign a contract. Go to www.soyouwantasellonebay.com/Bluehost today and take your business to a whole new level.
Well, that's a wrap to another awesome show. Don't forget to subscribe to us on iTunes at soyouwantasellonebay.com/iTunes. Follow us on Twitter at Your eBay Podcast and Facebook at So You Want to Sell on eBay. And we can always be found at www.soyouwantasellonebay.com.